This is the first in a series on the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. What is power? Whether you live in the modern era of geopolitics, the postmodern era of the influencer culture, or the age of medieval courts of kings and queens, power is still the currency of the world order. No one ever endeavors to seem lustful for power, nor do we wish to be powerless, whether you distrust the powerful or admire them. We all must realize that to have any respect, agency, and freedom, we too will need influence, wealth, resources, and power. Robert Moore's book on the 48 Laws of Power offers insightful demonstrations of the different dimensions of attaining and wielding power. The book often gets a bad reputation from those who hate power players that use their position to benefit only themselves. While this critique may be true, there is also no way to counter power without power of our own. And while powerful people may use these laws to their own selfish and possibly malicious benefit, there is also the possibility to use these lessons for benevolent objectives and goals. Power, you will learn in this series, is not an inherent or tangible object. Power is as fluid as the tide or the breeze. It flows from one to another, but is never completely absent from our social order. To wield power is a game, and as in any game there are rules, strategies, lessons, and all of these will be presented to you in this series. Like in any game, you must practice these laws, review your performance, and study the performance of your opponents and teammates alike. The more you observe these laws in the real world, the better player you will become. But know that the game of power is not a finite game like football, baseball, or tennis, where there are defined rules, clear objectives, known players, limited time frame, clear winners and losers. The game of power, instead, is an infinite game, with no set time frame, no defined objectives, no clear winners or losers. There can be known and unknown players in an infinite game, but like all games, the more you practice and observe, the better you will be. In life, we all engage in power dynamics. Whether you like it or not, if you do not learn to wield power, you are destined to be controlled by the powerful. Whether that is in the office, hobbies, politics, or your own family and relationships. Throughout this series of videos, I will provide descriptions of each law with examples from popular films and televisions. Some depictions have historical relevance, although dramatized. But like all storytelling, they are simply reflections of our collective unconscious and conscious minds. These examples are not meant to be taken 100% factually accurate, but as examples for you to learn the laws of power to use in your own lives. Law 1. Never outshine the master. Always make those above you feel comfortably superior. In their desire to please and impress them, do not go too far in displaying your talents, or you might accomplish the opposite. Inspire fear and insecurity. Make your masters appear more brilliant than they are, and you will attain the heights of power. Robert Greene. Part 1. Transgressions of the Law. In Season 1, Episode 4 of Mad Men, a television series following the business exploits of a New York advertisement agency in the 1960s.
City of Chicago, Detroit, St. Louis, New York City, City of Pittsburgh, brought to you by Bethlehem Steel. Full-page ads in targeted markets.
I might be wrong, but these feel like ads for cities. You're making our company look like a middleman for another product.
I believe it was more specific.
Don, Walter has expressed himself. Now, Walter, if this does not meet your expectations, I'm sure Don can find something that does. Right, Don?
Pete Campbell runs afoul of the show's main character, creative director Don Draper.
I'm glad you decided to stay over. You know, I had some thoughts about your campaign today. Bethlehem Steel, the backbone of America. What do you think?
Unbelievable. Did Draper tell you to try and sneak this one by me?
No, I was
Campbell, get off the clock.
When Pete oversteps his role as an account executive and pitches an advertisement campaign to a client. This was an overstep of Pete's assigned role in the agency.
The idea that from the acorn that is Bethlehem Steel comes America's great cities.
I know this isn't the idea you want to sell me, so don't sell it so damn well. The backbone idea. Campbell pitched it to me last night. I like it.
Ah, right.
It's concise, strong, and frankly, I like that you were so enthusiastic about it you couldn't wait to tell me.
He was only supposed to act as a liaison between the client and the creative department headed by Don. Don outranks Pete in the hierarchy of the agency, and is solely responsible for the advertisement campaigns created.
Nice work.
I told you I had ideas.
Yes, you did.
I think I did something good, and you got the compliment for it.
Listen, Pete. I need you to go get a cardboard box. Put your things in it.
Pete's actions were his own attempt to show off his abilities in the hopes of gaining recognition in the agency. Instead, they have the opposite effect. They were self-serving.
Remember Pete Campbell's last day? It's today.
What happened?
While I was breaking my neck trying to fix the hash he made yesterday, he was out at the St. Regis pitching copy. His copy.
They did not benefit the agency or the other employees as a whole. This single act put a target on Pete's back that would last the remainder of his career. In Season 2, Episode 3 of the television show Better Call Saul, we follow an upstart attorney, Jimmy McGill, rising from an ambulance-chasing public defender to a partnered attorney at a prestigious law firm, when he lands a class-action suit against a giant retirement community conglomerate.
To help any Sandpiper residents who may have been overcharged for basic goods and services. Now, does that ring a bell?
Oh, maybe. Was it yellow?
Well, ma'am, I'm here to make sure you get your money back.
What are you talking about? Who took Alma May's money?
Nobody took anybody's money, exact, okay? It's not like the Sandpiper people, you know, put on a ski mask and mugged Alma May here at gunpoint. So I want you to put that mental image right out of your head.
After bringing the case to the law firm, he is made a partnered attorney and given the task of expanding the pool of plaintiffs that will sign on to the lawsuit.
Well, Jimmy, we'll leave that up to you. Client outreach is your department.
Jimmy has an idea to advertise on a television station that caters to the senior citizen market.
TV commercial, highly targeted. Let me tell you, at Sandpiper, the trains run on time. 10 a.m. water aerobics, 2 p.m. line dancing, so on and so forth. They always leave 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. free. Why? Murder, She Wrote. 3:14 p.m., end of the first act cliffhanger, first commercial up, Davis and Maine, guaranteed eyeballs, lots of them.
It's not exactly my go-to, but generally speaking, I'm open to it. We will talk next week.
After a quick pitch to his boss, Jimmy goes full steam ahead, writing, producing, and airing the television spot over the weekends, without the full permission and consent of the other partners. Although this proves a successful ploy, the other partners are not happy. They had no creative input in the commercial. They were not consulted.
It's the boss. Cliff, Jesus, you're still at the office.
Ran a commercial without ever showing it to me, without first consulting me and my partners. Did you actually think that was gonna fly?
I was planning on telling you in the morning.
The day after it aired?
In all fairness, you did tell me client outreach was my department.
Don't be disingenuous. This commercial, I take it my firm's name is mentioned?
Yes. We got 103 phone calls today off a measly $700 ad buy. Now, that kind of return on investment, you can't
Tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock, my office, with the partners, and we want to see this thing.
The gambit was a victory, but for Jimmy alone, not the firm as a whole. If Jimmy had gone slower and allowed each partner to give consent and creative input over the commercial, they would have been able to take credit for its success as a whole. Part 2. Observance of the Law. In the 2006 film, The Devil Wears Prada, Meryl Streep portrays the fictional fashion mogul Miranda Priestley.
She's on her way. Tell everyone.
All right, everyone, gird your loins.
Who is known as a ruthless businesswoman and harsh boss. Her assistants bear the brunt of her ire, as she is very needy, particular, and demanding.
What about accessories for April? They're showing a lot of florals right now, so I was thinking I could
Florals? For spring. Groundbreaking.
Well, we thought about shooting them in an industrial space. And
No.
Emily Blunt plays Emily, the seasoned assistant that works tirelessly to complete all of her tasks without error, even while earning little praise from the miser Miranda.
Wait yet. Who's that?
Human Resources sent her up about the new assistant job, and I was sort of pre-interviewing her for you, but she's hopeless and totally
Well,
wrong. So.
clearly I'm going to have to do that myself because the last two you sent me were completely inadequate, so send her in.
While the new assistant, Andy, played by Anne Hathaway, struggles to earn the slightest respect of her new boss.
Emily. Emily.
She means you.
There you are, Emily. How many times do I have to scream your name?
Actually, it's Andy. My name is Andy. Andrea, but everybody calls me Andy.
Eventually, Andy learns the ropes of the difficult task of assisting the most powerful woman in the industry and learns to appreciate the need to maintain strict discipline in her business dealings.
Call James Holt's office. Tell them I want to move the preview up to today, 12:30. Tell everybody else. Be ready to leave in half an hour.
Which is displayed when Andy steps in for Emily.
John.
Hey there.
Thanks for coming.
As she has a momentary lapse of memory at a gala event.
Oh my God, I just can't remember what his name is. I just saw his name this morning on the list. Oh, I know this. It's something to do with...
It's Ambassador Franklin, and that's the woman that he left his wife for, Rebecca.
The assistant's job at this formal occasion was to make Miranda appear knowledgeable of all her guests, which is the job of all subordinates, to make their master appear at all times knowledgeable, in command, and talented. For another observance of the law, we return to the television show Mad Men to examine the secretary turned creative copyright Peggy Olson, portrayed by Elizabeth Moss. Peggy's talents are first noticed by Freddie Rumsen, when she breaks with his social experiment to come up with an advertisement campaign for lipstick in Season 1, Episode 6.
Okay, here's all your memos.
Well, now we have to count the shades they tried. Can you bring me those tissues, dear?
Here's your basket of kisses.
Basket of kisses. That's cute. Which color did you like?
I didn't get the one I liked. Someone took my color.
Why didn't you choose another one?
I'm very particular. I don't think anyone wants to be one of 100 colors in a box. I think that's enough complaining. Why don't you head back to your desk, Peggy?
Freddie uses her insightful talents with words to his advantage, and in return for her contributions, brings Peggy into the creative team.
Mr. Rumsen would like you to put your industrious little mind towards coming up with copy for Belle Jolie lipsticks. I don't understand. They want me to write something? Whatever you said in that brainstorming session apparently knocked their socks off.
Later, in episode 8 of season 1, is creative director Don Draper that pitches Peggy's idea to the makeup company.
Every woman wants choices. But in the end, none wants to be one of 100 in a box. She's unique. She makes the choices, and she's chosen him.
Since all the creative team shared in the success, they later privately toast Peggy's achievements.
How do you take it?
Home run, ballerina.
Go ahead, before Joan Holloway sees.
The meeting was so long, I was worried.
We barely finished the presentation and he bought it.
Oh my God, can I see it? It's marvelous. I thought it was going to say it's the mark you make on your man.
Was it now? You may be a writer, honey.
Really?
You're arrogant.
From then on in the television series, Peggy's would continue to climb in the advertisement agency by allowing her peers, whether it is her creative team or her boss, to take credit for her work. In doing so, she positions herself as a valuable contributor to the agency's success. She becomes an indisposable creative partner to Don, and a valuable asset to the agency. Unlike Pete Campbell, who blatantly tried to make himself look superior to his masters to gain their acclaim, Peggy, time and time again, wins her master's approval by allowing them to look better for her own ideas. Part 3. The Keys to Power. This law is all about two universal facts of human nature. First is that no matter how well you hide it, we are all insecure with our position in society.
Another divorce. Splashed across page 6. Just imagine what they're gonna write about me. The Dragon Lady. Career obsessed. Snow Queen drives away another Mr. Priestley.
And secondly, we all have a drive for ambition.
Right, remember you and I have totally different jobs. I mean, you get coffee and you run errands, yet I'm in charge of her schedule, her appointments and her expenses. And most importantly, I get to go with her to Paris for Fashion Week in the fall.
Humans are social creatures, and power dynamics are a game we play throughout our lives. We often waver between believing we deserve more and fearing that we will be found out for the fraudsters we are.
I know that your name is not Donald Draper. It's Dick Whitman. I don't know who Donald Draper is, but according to my friend Russ at the Department of Defense, Dick Whitman died in Korea in 1950, and Donald Draper dropped off the map. I would like you to reconsider my qualifications.
Know that you can outshine your master without being aware you are doing so. And be aware that no matter how much your master may love you, that is not free rein to do whatever you please without consequence.
Peggy, this is my office. Does this door mean nothing to you?
I'm sorry, Mr. Draper. I didn't know you were coming back.
Knowledge of this law can save you from the dangers of your master's wrath, but also present you an opportunity to use it to your advantage. If you ever plan to make a move against your master, you must do so with caution and calculation. Part 4. The Reversal. Masters rise and fall as any other star. If you happen to find yourself serving a master in decline, there's increasingly less to fear as you begin to outshine them, as in the 1950 film All About Eve, where Bette Davis plays an aging Broadway star, Margot Channing. And Eve Harrington, played by Anne Baxter, is a fan turned assistant to Margot, who sees the star as her chance to rise and take her place in the spotlight. Eve maneuvers to hasten Margot's downfall by disrupting her personal relationships, and after being removed from Margot's employment, becomes her understudy.
The other day, when I heard Mr. Fabian tell Miss Channing that her understudy was going to have a baby, and they'd have to replace her. And you want to be Margot's new understudy? Suppose I had to go on one night to an audience that came to see Margot Channing.
By the end of the film, she is standing in front of Margot and all her former masters, who have fallen from their grace, and she graciously thanks them for her own success.
A great actress and a great woman, Margot Channing.
This has been a production of Minimum Effort Media. There are new video essays here on the first Friday of every month. If you would like to purchase a copy of The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene, please do so using the link in the description below, which will benefit the channel. You can reach out to me at The Lazy Stoic across all social media. Thank you for watching.